that was sad. Good evening, everyone. There we go. Hello. We probably have not had the pleasure to meet because shortly after I started, COVID happened. But my name is Danica Thurston, and I am the new director of the Lynn Museum / LynnArts. Tonight. This is actually one of our first major events here since COVID, and let me tell you, it feels damn good. So those of you that don't know, we just recently opened an exhibition on Lynn's Black history. It was a community collaborative exhibition, and as part of the reason why we are here today, I had the pleasure of meeting Stuart Primus in this process, and he told me about this amazing team and the incredible accomplishment that they made, the 1979 to 1980 basketball state champs. And tonight, that is the reason why we're all here. So I'm not going to take up too much space because that's what you're here to see. But we do have a special presentation with Mayor McGee. So I'm going to bring him on up. There he is. And I do want to take a moment to acknowledge there are some generous sponsors who made this event possible tonight. Thank you to L Hand, the Hogan family, and the Pedro Foundation for making this event possible. So round of applause.
Wow, I didn't expect to come up so soon, but it's great to be here. And I was just talking to Ted Grant, and a lot of us here had a chance to really see some of your games and really appreciate the talent and the excitement you brought to this community and the championship you brought to Classical. But you were a joy to watch, and got to see a lot of your games, so it's great to be here tonight. I'm coming from the Gannons. They were raising money for the fireworks that aren't happening this year, but they will be happening next year, hopefully. We're going to have a big celebration. We had a fundraiser and a golf tournament, so I came right from there to here because I want to be here to congratulate all of you and recognize your great achievement. And I have a citation for all 5 of you from my office, and I'll read one and then I'd love to present them to you. But it's your night. I'm just glad to be here and to remember the games we had a chance to see from the sidelines, and I know you all had a great time playing together. You had a lot of fun, and I'm so glad to see you being recognized for amazing accomplishment. Great team, great group, great to be here with all of you. And I'm going to read a citation and present it, and then I'll give it to all of you. And it's nice to see you have these to recognize tonight as well. So I'll start with Angelo Antonio Thurman. Be it known that my office as mayor, I extend my sincere congratulations to you and the whole team in recognition of the Classical 5 and the historic 1979-1980 season and championship basketball season. And the entire City of Lynn extends its best wishes for continued success to all of you, Tony, to you and the whole team. And great joy and happiness, and I'm honored to be here to sign this dated June 11th, 2021. Congratulations, really great to be here with all of you tonight. So I'll just hand it to all of you.
And now we're going to bring Dan Dill here. Dan, take it away.
Thank you. I've had the pleasure of not only coaching these guys 40 years ago, but I've become good friends with most of them, stayed in their lives, involved with their lives. So it's a pleasure for me to kind of act as an MC tonight and give you a little bit of a bio in each one of these players. Like every fan in Lynn, we follow their careers. I mean, whatever I tell you, you probably already know, but I'm going to bring it up again so we can all take a trip down memory lane. 1980, 41 years ago. Okay, 41 years ago. This team was 25-0, and they took on everyone. Some of the players here have pictures to extend the season. They took on a team that was led by the great Patrick Ewing. Okay, the state wouldn't sanction it, so we had to go over and Revere, and they took on Patrick's Ewing's team. They beat them by 22 points to make it 25-0, a perfect season. To that, Stuart Primus did dunk on Patrick Ewing. You know, in the history of Lynn Classical, you have basically two eras. The Harry Aganis, Bully Dan Switzer era back in the 40s. And these guys from like 86, from 76 to 86, those are the two greatest, 120 years old of Lynn Classical, the two greatest eras in the history of not only Lynn Classical sports, but probably Lynn sports also. Okay, and in this group right here, not surprisingly, all 5 of these players are in the Lynn Classical Hall of Fame. Okay, I'm the What is unique about this, you know, we all have friends that have played basketball at various places, and some will say, that guy was a great player. Can you imagine he scored 1,000 points? And I'd say, yeah, that's all right. They goes, what do you mean? I'd said, I have 4 1,000 point scorers on one group of players in one team. We also have a 1,000 rebounder, the guy that did all the heavy lifting, all the hard work underneath, the unsung hero, Hall of Famer, Meryl Brown. You know what's amazing about all 4 of these guys being 1,000-point scorers? Okay, back then, it was just grades 10, 11, and 12. So they accomplished all that in 3 years. Now you have 8th graders playing varsity, 9th graders, they get playing 4 or 5 years. They did all this in 3 years without the three-pointer. Imagine that. 4,000 point scorers without the three-pointer. And these guys can shoot the lights out from outside like anyone. You know, we've all heard about the Michigan Fab Five. This is the original Fab Five. Okay. The Michigan Fab Five came into existence in 1991. We were in existence in 1980. So we should have got a trademark on it. If we did, we'd all be rich right now. You know, these guys they've all stayed active in the community. I'm going to talk about players individually, then move on and then kind of wrap it up. I'm going to open it up for questions and things like that. Okay, let's start with that All-American at Boston consensus, all-around first-team All-American at Boston College, Tony Thurman. Yes. If you ever go up to BC to watch a football game, he's got a life-size picture of Tony Thurman between all the greatest players that ever played at BC. Tony Thurman's right up there to see him, and it just gives you a good feeling every time you go up to a game and see a former player and a Lynn guy being celebrated like that. Yes. Okay, and what happens is, you know, when you go out and people say, oh, you're from Lynn, geez, Tony Thurman, great player, played on Doug Flutie's team and all this stuff. I go, whoa, 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 whoa. In Lynn, we say that Doug Flutie played on Tony Thurman's team. But you know, Tony had, I think he's still number 3 all-time in the NCAA history for total interceptions. But his senior year, this is a fact that most people don't know. His senior year, he led the country in interceptions. Then in Division 1AA, which was a little step below, Tony Hill, another classical player, led the country in interceptions. So we had 2 Lynn Classical teammates leading the country in 2 different divisions that same year. And they were both All-Americans. Tony, one of Tony's highlights, and he just had been written up recently. He had many highlights in his career at BC, but back in 1984, if you can imagine this, BC beat Alabama. Okay, they were playing Alabama in the bowl game down in Nashville. Okay, led by Tony Thurman's 3 interceptions, BC upset Alabama 34-31. We all know that Tony's a very sociable guy. That year, there used to be the Bob Hope All-American show. They brought out the best in the country. Well, Tony Thurman was part of that. Okay, and out of all the players that got introduced that night, the 22 players, only 2 of them had a speaking part, and one of them was Tony Thurman. Tony Thurman was on national TV, all over the country, all over the world, had a speaking part at that Bob Hope All-American show. And when Tony went up to BC, we all know he was a great basketball player, and they kind of frowned upon playing 2 sports. But he decided to go out for the JV team because he missed basketball and stuff, and they were playing Holy Cross. The varsity coach, I think it was Tom Davis, is sitting in the stand killing time. Tony scored 47 points against Holy Cross. The next day he was on the varsity. But just recently, I've had season tickets for 35 years, thanks to Tony, Stewie, these guys. They fell in love with BC football and stuff. So I read this thing, they said, when was the last time that there's been a dual sport athlete at BC? Can anyone remember? And then someone says, I'm not sure, but I think it's 2 guys from Lynn, Stuart Primus and Tony Thurman. It's on their website. So that was a nice thing for Lynn. But, Tony went on to play 2 sports. He became an All-American. Another player at BC at the time is the great Stuart Primus. Okay? Stewie was one of the smoothest athletes I've ever seen. Okay? I remember we had a junior high team, him and Sandy, Linda Williams, Jeff Akers. We went 8-0, one scored a point. So the 3rd game of the season, Robert Davis, the coach comes up to me, hey, you think you're pretty smart, aren't you? I go, what are you talking about? The word's out on you. I go, what do you mean? He said, you're going to forfeit all your game. You got the classical JV team down here playing the freshman schedule. I go, what do you mean? He goes, look at these guys. There's no way they're 14 and 15 years old. I go, yes, they are. Yes, they are. So, but, they went from there, and Stewie he played on 2 Sweet 16 teams at BC, and he was a critical part of that. He's the only player, the only graduate of Lynn Classical's history that ever got drafted by the NBA. Stewie Primus was drafted by the Indiana Pacers. The only one in the history of Lynn Classical. He had a great career. You know what's great about these guys? They all graduated. Yes. Okay? That was important for all of us, the young athletes. So we're pretty important to young kids that just say, hey, you got to do your work and you got to stay in school. But they've all graduated from college, and I think that's a tremendous feat within itself. Stewie is very involved in the community, very active in the different things, and continue to do that great work, Stewie. You're doing a fabulous job. Pancho Bingham, another super athlete at Lynn Classical. I mean, Pancho had opportunities. Ohio State came down to Lynn Classical and offered him a scholarship to play football at Ohio State, become a tight end. They said he's a big, tremendous athlete. We can put 30 pounds on him and he'd be unstoppable out there. This is Ohio State. But his first love was basketball. And Rick Pitino was quite a salesman, as we all know. Con man, salesman, whatever, But he recruited Pancho, and Pancho went on to play for Rick Pitino at BU. And he ended up having a great career, graduated from college. Sandy McGee. Sandy McGee, Mr. Unstoppable. I'll tell you, when he playing football and basketball, one of the most electrifying athletes ever in the city of Lynn. Like all these guys, these are all, you take the top athletes in the history of Lynn, and even beyond Lynn, these guys are all on that list. But Sandy McGee, he went out to Golden West Junior College, and I kind of lost track of him. I said, geez, he was one of the greatest athletes. No one could stop him in basketball and football. So I'm watching the game of the week on TV one Saturday afternoon, and Kansas is playing, who are they playing? Oklahoma. So then they said, now there's a 75-yard touchdown pass hauled in by James Sandy McGee. What? I thought it was out in Arizona. I didn't know what he was doing because we lost track of him. But he ended up playing for Mike Godfrey at Kansas and had a tremendous career in Kansas. Congratulations on that career, Sandy. Mr. Unstoppable. Now the guy on this 25-0 team, the guy that did all the dirty work, okay, Lynn Classical Hall of Famer, when I introduced him last year, a year and a half ago, the Classical Hall of Fame, he came up there and looked at the crowd and said, can you believe I was the big man? Okay? But Meryl Brown had over 1,000 rebounds. Think about it, we had 4 1,000-point scorers. We had Meryl in his 3-year had over 1,000 rebounds. So he did all the dirty work, okay, and he was part of that great team that went 25-0. Congratulations, Meryl, on a great career. When these guys played basketball, the crowd was there early. It was showtime. Okay, once the basketball game started, it was more under control, but if you want to see electrifying play that you normally wouldn't see, people would come a half an hour early, the stands would be filled, just to watch these guys in pregame with a show they put on. Also, as a follow-up to this night tonight, in October 2nd, when Lynn Classical has its annual Hall of Fame, most recent one that got in last year group was Meryl Brown and Junior guy. Where's Junior? Junior, they went in last time. But on October 2nd, we put this team in a long time ago, but it's the 40th anniversary. Because with that Lynn Classical that year, for the first time in the history of Lynn Classical, they won the Super Bowl in football, and they won the state championship 25-0 in basketball. It had never been accomplished before Lynn Classical. So both those teams are being honored October 2nd as part of this year's Hall of Fame. So I'm going to turn it back over and open up for questions. Anyone that wants to ask any questions of any of the players up here, any of the players want to add anything or say anything? I know you guys used to gab all the time. You ever seen them so quiet? You ever seen these guys so quiet? Should have been in that locker room before Howard dropped.
Hey, well, hold on, Jan. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. This is huge for me and for everybody up here, and we appreciate you coming out tonight. And this is something that is 40 years old, coming. And this is huge for the City of Lynn. This is huge for us. And this is huge for the history of the City of Lynn.
Absolutely.
We hope we bridge this together with the youth of the City of Lynn to let them know that they can be as we were. We all probably didn't come from much, but we got there. Okay, so we can do that.
If anyone wants to ask a question, just raise your hand. I'll come over with the mic and you can ask your question, okay? Anyone have any questions? No, everyone knows these guys so well for so long. We're going to have a basketball question by a very successful coach, Dave Brown. Who's better player? Who's the best player in the team?
Meryl Brown. Without Meryl, we would have never scored a goal.
Ask a question?
I got one.
Okay.
All right, game of 51. Right now, who wins? Who scores the most points right now? Stewie?
No, the coach.
I would be remiss. There's one individual here tonight I just want to recognize because Every guy up there played for him when they were younger and started that foundation to bring them to the success they enjoy today. Principal Jeff Burrell.
Yes, sir.
They all went to Washington. They were Rovers. And Jeff, did you recruit these guys, or they just ended up there? They were all right there, I know.
Yo, we didn't all go to Washington.
Yeah, that's right. We're from
Mayor Meryl and EA went to
That's
Harris.
right. That's right.
We kind of forget, so we got a couple guys from East Lynn on it. Did you have a grandmother in West Lynn back then? I was in charge of recruiting back then, and there were so many grandmothers living in West Lynn. Anyone else, any other questions?
Hey, Dan, we do want to acknowledge our coach,
Yes, yeah.
Lou Falco, and Mr. Alpha.
Yeah, if you could just give me a moment, the coach that made this all possible, Lynn Classical Hall of Fame coach, he was a great guy. He would do anything for one. He loved these guys. He'd do anything for them. I happen to have him for a coach in Post 6 baseball. Let's have a round of applause. He's not here for Lou Falco. Lou was a great guy. He kept you guys together, and we appreciate everything he did for him. And he was trying to spend with them.
Now, did all of you boys play for Westland Warner?
Yes.
No. Eastland.
You were the only one?
Yeah.
Meryl didn't play football.
I didn't play
Now you
football.
played for Eastland?
He didn't play football.
No, that's right. You were the
Well, you know, while Meryl was at Classical, we kept trying to recruit him to play football because he's such a great
I
athlete.
did go out.
I know, but you know what it is, he saw, I said, you'd be a great tight end, and he saw Jeff Akers and Pancho at tight end. I said, how about wide receiver? He saw Sam McGee, he said, I think I'll work out in basketball.
I'm serious on that note. I did try for wide receiver. And Eddie Anderson,
The general?
my best friend I grew up with, him and I were tied for the fastest kids on the team.
Yeah.
One-on-one race.
Is that right?
That's right.
Well,
Wheels.
I think,
Had no hands
he's a
though.
great
Had
athlete.
no hands. The Pancho said, I think I'm not giving you the ball. Pancho had no hands. That's why I'm not passing the ball to you.
Well, hey, tell Pancho was wrong because you got 1,000 rebounds. That demonstrates you have good hands.
Right.
Anyone else want to ask a question, or just raise your hand, I'll hand over the mic. Is anyone,
40 years, guys. It's
Anyone wanna say anything?
You guys. CA, ask us something, man.
we're going to hear from Lynn's own consensus All-American, Tony Thurman.
Spontaneous things are not great at, but I'm gonna give it my go here. First of all, we were led by the junior guys, the Arthur Akers,
Yes, sir.
my brother.
Yes, sir.
We had people show us what it was like. We had UCLA, we had Michigan, we had BU, we had Jeff Bird out there, opening up Lynn Tech during the summer, playing basketball, take a break, go play basketball. Lights come on, go play basketball. That's what we did. And we became friends, lifelong friends. So I want to thank everybody for showing up. It's kind of emotional because you see it, you feel it. Even got a tax man out there. Never thought I got this table. A lot of tax people out there. But anyways, thanks for coming. Stu, thanks for putting this together. I knew I'd have a good time when I got here, but you got to drag me out to get places. But this was a good thing. Thanks.
I want to thank everyone. Question?
Fellas, I love all you guys. I tell you, I was a little older. I was just talking to Tony about how we used to be in Marion Gardens. playing on the hills when the lights was out. We made our own lights. And I was telling Stewie, I remember them in Carpet. Like you said, I would have said the same thing. These guys ain't 14 now. I mean, I remember that's where Sandy first started dunking. But the great five there, you know, and the rest of the players that was behind you guys, James, my cousin EA, there's so many of you guys. I just tell you, I used to love going to the games. You know, I felt like I was part of the team, even though I was out of school. But no one would know it because I was always there with you guys. You guys took care of me like I was one of the players. You know, and to see you guys sitting up there, you know, with the love that you have for each other, and, you know, we all went our separate ways, and to come back and to have these stories, you know what I mean, to be told to our kids out there today, you know what I mean, this is big. This is big. Because there aren't a lot of kids in here to see it, but they're gonna hear about it. And they're gonna want this platform. You know, and that's what we all have to offer. You know, you guys are great. I was telling my buddy Tony there, you know, I was lucky to land a job with one of his alumni, you know, who's my big boss. And when I mentioned Tony's name, he just was like, really, really? And I said, yeah. And you're talking about that year, Tony had 17 interceptions. That's when Doug Flutie threw the Hail Mary pass. You know what I'm saying?
It started at 12, but 17 sounds good.
Hey, that's what I was doing. Up to Jersey, baby. And I used to go up to the games and, yeah, the jersey number, baby. Hey, listen, and you know, and when I speak to some of the gentlemen that I work with, that is alumni to BC, the BC high school, you know, and I mentioned Tony's name, they just be like, wow. Then I tell them about Stu and the basketball, you know, and all these guys. I tell you, watching you guys play, seeing you there today, I can bring back like it was yesterday.
Sure.
It was like yesterday, man. I mean, you guys brought the City of Lynn out, and that's what we need tonight. I just want to thank you guys, thank my cousin EA, and all the other players who aren't here tonight. And I'll tell you, my buddy Stewie, yeah, you know how to do this, man. You know how to do it. Just do it. That's what I'm wearing. Just do it. God bless each and every one of you. I love you guys.
Nice job, nice job.
Next time it's gonna be 20. So I tell the story again.
I've known all these guys. I coached a couple of them. It's wonderful to see them turn out the way they have, and I think this is great for the City of Lynn. I hope that this is a kickoff, because you guys have started something here. We have a great tradition here in the City of Lynn. There's been a lot of great people, a lot of great athletes, a lot of people just like you when you were those supposedly 14 and 15 years old. But I watched your games. I even got to coach you in one of the games. But it's great to see you again, and I hope this doesn't end here. I hope this is, like I said, the kickoff. We can go back to Bolly Danskowitz and Javier Ganis, Mecca Simirowski, Tippy Johnson, Peter Pedro. We've had a lot of great people in the City of Lynn. It's one of the great things. You started this. I hope you'll all stay in touch. I know you're great friends. I hope we can keep this going, and I hope it kicks off here. I congratulate the museum for doing this. It brought a great crowd, a lot of great people, brought friends together who haven't been together for a very long time. Friendships, again, friendships for me, for all of you in the room. And again, please let this keep going. Don't end it tonight. Anyone else? Any more questions?
Dan, can you make an announcement? Call Denisha. What? Denisha.
Denisha?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm right here.
Where's Denisha?
I don't know.
Have her come up here. At this time, the five of us would like to donate this to the museum for forever trophy. To the director, Zanisha.
Yes. Good job. Thank you.
Before we wrap it up, people welcome to stay and interact and mingle with everyone. Let's have these 5 Hall of Famers, the original Fab 5, stand up and let's give them a standing ovation for all the joy and history and joy of the City of Lynn. Pancho Bingham's getting married.